good afternoon, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of the Cloister of the Dice. And folks, get ready, because we are finishing up our run in Robotech. The final battle is on, so let's get in our mechs and get ready to kick some ass. Of course, I'm your MC behind the scenes, I'm John. And of course, we've got our crew, our GM, Mildred the Monk, and our players, Lady K, Neferor Fall, and Xanatrix Zadare. Folks, how are we doing today?
We're doing good. It is as mentioned the final countdown. Finally, I'm not going to try and play Final Countdown again like I did for the 10th anniversary because I don't want us to get banned in Russia again.
That would be bad.
Do we even have a Russian viewer base?
What the? Oh,
I haven't checked. I know there's a decent viewer base in South America, but I wonder if that's because of me using a Brazilian song as my opening for years.
Hello, Brazil. We love you.
But we are back proper. For some people, it has become sweater weather at this time of year. To which I say, pussy.
go fuck yourself.
Hey, I'm talking about people in my state.
Hey, no, Monk. That's just K self-reporting.
I mean, it's snowing outside where I am, and I'm just like, yeah, and? So what? Doesn't mean I have to stop wearing a t-shirt.
It also doesn't help matters that I get cold very easily, so... Again, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna wear my sweater, damn it.
Confirmed, K is a lizard.
No, she's an amphibian, not a reptile.
Thank you!
So use ice water if I ever have to break out the Super Soaker with a backpack. You know, the War Crime edition of Super Soaker.
I will kill you! I will kill you and then pelt the fuck out of you with a Nerf gun.
You see, Monk, what you have to do is you have to get backpacks of gradually hotter water. That's how you boil a frog, after all.
Fair.
Honey, stop now. You're only digging yourself a deeper hole.
Hmm.
Diggy, diggy hole.
K fall down the hole.
Regardless, it has been a week of a bit of creative frenzy, as well as the miracle of dealing with one problem, and all of a sudden everybody becomes more productive, and everything becomes more productive. Sometimes you have to cause an avalanche in order to prevent a bigger one. Truth is the greatest comedy. That, and if somebody did a drinking game out of the number of times that Zan and I said badass last night, you'd probably be dead. Although I know that Jay has seen that episode, but I'm not sure if he's commented on us covering that game from 2011.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with that said, I will note a couple of things because this is the grand finale. Between sessions, I had everyone bumped up to level 10. Since it's going to be the go all out kind of thing, so I didn't see a reason to hold back on that. And there is also the fact that with it that there is a non-zero possibility that sometime in the next few years we end up revisiting Robotech, but it won't be with these characters, and it won't be in this part of the Robotech Frankenstein's monster of a storyline. Although I can safely say this: if we come back, it's not going to be setting in Shadow Chronicles or Sentinels, because, well, for one, Sentinels doesn't have a whole lot, and two, I think more people know about Shadow Chronicles through the ads than actually saw it. Especially if you were a netizen in 2004. Because seriously, those ads were fucking everywhere. But last time we were here, you guys were trying to get out of San Francisco. Your brief staycation being interrupted by the arrival of the Invid, which managed to surprise a whole lot of people and freak a whole lot of other people out. And one thing leading to another until you guys ended up back where you started on the bridge of the Spirit of Carthage.
Ain't no rest of the wicked, they say.
Mm-hmm. So I suppose it's full circle. You guys started this adventure trying to get out of the city under siege by the Masters, and bookend it with a city being under siege by the Invid.
Where's Snake Plissken when you need him? After all, we're escaping from LA. Excuse me, San Fran. But it might as well be the same place. At least in our world.
Yeah. But on the bridge, as noted, was both Agent Vici, who's been transferred from the GMP over to the over to ASC command, since most of the GMP had no interest or involvement in that little scheme when it came to the satellites. And do you really think Vici would approve of that kind of thing?
Hell no.
Definitely not.
Oh, he totally would. You're all being so negative.
But within the Spirit, you see that a lot of the people who were volunteers during your excursion in Africa have taken the role of task troopers. Of course, the bridge is in full-on chaos mode, with numerous distress calls coming in from across the planet, with displays showing warships in combat and vessels falling under crushing waves of the Invid. And in the midst of this chaos, Captain Prana shows up to address you all. Hannibal team, welcome back to the Spirit. As you can see, a new situation has unraveled. A new enemy, identified by our friends from the UEEF as the Invid, has attacked. Currently, their forces are hitting us on all sides, causing our defenses to collapse faster than we can cope. Despite the UEEF's assistance, we're massively outnumbered and outgunned. Our only hope is to hold the Invid in orbit before they completely overwhelm our ground forces long enough for more reinforcements to make their way here. If we can hold them in space, our ground forces might have a chance. You see that she then shifts to a side console on the bridge. This, as she points to, is what we've been working toward. Every action, every mission you've taken in these last 6 months has been to give us a new tool to ensure our victory. This war will be decided in space, and while our fleet has been all but ineffective to date, a long-range plan to build a new tool has been in the works for years. It's only just finished construction. It might be too late for the Masters, but maybe it can still help us against the Invid. She brings up a diagram of a massive capital ship, along with a diagram of it anchored on a construction dock. This, people, is the SDF-X Warden, a brand new, fully armed and operational superdimensional fortress class vessel developed at the Robotech Research Facility in Neo Tokyo and by Dr. Kirk and his team at the Red 15 research base. That, at least originally, when things ended up going south, it was handed over to the research division of the UEF, especially since they had their own plans for it. And she looks directly at Leo regarding this. Or yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't know his name is Leo.
Yeah.
He simply gives her a salute because she's still the skipper of this boat.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're the same rank.
Yeah. This will be the new flagship of the fleet, the ultimate weapon for our forces. It's currently being commanded by Captain Saloon, who I'm sure you all are familiar with, and it's to be used as a mobile headquarters to prevent the catastrophe that befell Monument City. It's basic, and in a move that I'm sure you had nothing to do with, Captain Sia. It is being powered by something that referred to as the SSCG, which was supposed to be which I suppose was meant to be top secret.
That was an unfortunate broadcast transmission hidden as a failsafe of some sort, Captain Prana. There's nothing that could have been done to prevent that.
Anyways, the engine systems as a result of this new system are about 17 times more powerful than that of the original SDF-1. We need to reach its construction dock in Siberia and defend the Warden until it can launch, and then escort it out into orbit. So we are heading to Russia.
A place Kay hates. And not for any other reason than the cold.
And specifically, we're heading to the northern end in Siberia.
Ailey bites back a groan.
Now, the information is limited, but are there any questions before we arrive at the Siberian base?
What defenses are already in place, Captain Prana? What sort of setup are we looking at?
As many of the ground forces as we could spare and reserve have moved over there. There's no, so a lot of mechs, tanks, a few escort craft, but not a whole lot. And once the Warden's operational, they're all going to be boarding along with it.
So am I to presume then that there are no anti-air emplacements or anything of that nature?
Aside from tanks that have been fitted with anti-air weaponry, no.
All right, then we are the anti-air. That makes sense.
Once the thing's active, we'd be able to use its anti-air armament, but that's as far as it goes.
Understood.
But as soon as you guys get closer, you end up hearing a lot of pings as the radar is picking up hundreds of Invid vessels of various shapes and sizes closing in on you. At which point, Prana immediately orders all hands to battle stations, including Hannibal. The objective, of course, being 1, survive, and 2, protect the Carthage.
Oh, great. I'm playing Halo Reach again. You said the objective was survive.
Yeah. Which, as you do scramble and attempt to carve a way through the hundreds of ships, even for the spirit, it's too much. As the spirit starts getting torn apart, and you hear Prana over comms going, all hands abandon ship.
Oh, shit.
There'll be sitting
So-
ducks out there.
Now, fortunately, by the time you guys heard the order, you guys were all in your individual mechs.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to make a emergency landing. So I want each of you to roll to see how you guys handle the landing.
Alright, are we rolling this as normal?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna roll a smooth method for that.
All right.
And before I do that, I gotta do something really quick. There she is. 3 successes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with smooth method too.
I don't have as much luck on that, but I'm gonna go ahead and go multi-process because that'll probably be the best way for me to adapt to any situation.
All right.
No, I clicked off that reroll. 2 successes.
And Leo is going to use Omniprescient because, well, he'll be aware of his surroundings and how to properly land. Also, Ultimate Fighter or Ultimate Fusion Suite means I'm rolling with 9 dice. Four successes.
You all do manage to soften the blow at the last minute by switching to Guardian mode. But that's the good news. The bad news is, as you recover, you see the spirit of Carthage tumbling from the sky. The hull followed by a trail of Invid, still sending salvos of weapons fire onto the cruiser. However, you do see plenty of parachutes indicating that that a lot of the people on the ship managed to survive. It's just that you're in the middle of a white and green tundra in every direction. There's some small lakes and rivers running down the mountains toward the Arctic Circle, but in the distance, barely visible and obscured by fog and snow, is a large industrial structure lit up by occasional AA fire from tanks towards invading waves of Invid. Anchored at the center of it is a construct of such a colossal size that you can make out what it is even all the way back here.
So, safe to assume that's the warden then?
Be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the coordinates we were given, and it definitely looks like something that we need to finish.
Well, we better not be no sense standing around here twiddling our thumbs. Let's get over there and let's make sure that ship gets off the ground.
Clearly.
Mm-hmm. As you move forward, you do see you do come across a section of the main road that collapsed due to a rock slide, with what looks like a vehicle that got crushed under some of the larger debris. Some of the smaller piles have settled, creating potential cover as you move through dirt, snow, and rock. You also find the remains of a half-crushed Janissary APC on the road. Which, unfortunately, the crew for it had been crushed, but you are able to salvage an arbalist launcher.
Interesting. We better keep our necks on a
firepower
swivel.
we can get for this one.
Yeah.
Of course. But like I said, necks on swivels. We don't know when these things are going to show up to kill us.
The arbalist launcher on the thing would normally be attached to the carrier, but you can man portable this, much in the same way that, say, to reference Reach, you could man portable a minigun. It is essentially a surface-to-air missile launcher.
Leo just lets Dave take it.
Oh yeah, this'll come in handy.
But as you continue on, you do find what looks like a small crater. Within it is one of the escape pods.
Footprints or anything of that nature leading away from it?
Yeah, you do. You not only do you see footprints, you see waving his arms the diva.
Leo over short comms. Babysitting duty never ends for you, Dave.
Apparently not.
He points to the escape pod where you do see Prana in there, but she's in bad shape.
Shit.
She had gotten hit through the side, and she'd need a med kit.
Anyone here got a
Crap,
medkit
I
on
don't
them?
have one.
I don't think any of us carried a medical kit.
Um,
I carried a survival kit, but that's it.
I'm vetoing that's what you could use.
Okay. In that case, pulling the survival kit. God, what skill would be good for this? Shit.
Actually, I believe I also have a survival kit, so I could go out and since I would know basic medical training, I could go buy the book.
Multi-process could help with that too.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
I mean, all right. We can pull together our survival kits and all that fun shit and try and stabilize Prana here.
All right, roll it.
All right, rolling. 4 successes, baby.
I think that works pretty well.
Oh, whatever. That makes a difference.
You do manage to at the very least stabilize the issue. And she's still not going to be of much help, but at the very least, if you can get her some proper attention at the base, she might be able to survive.
He's stable enough to move, as it were.
Yeah.
That's all we need right now.
All right. We're considering I'm the one that has stealth tech, and we know the inbed can't sense me. Should I be the one to take her?
they can't. They can't. All of your ships were outfitted with that starburst generator.
Gotcha.
So they won't be looking for us because we won't have a horticulture for them to pick up on. So
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I'd be like, I'll take Diva. Captain, you want to take Prana?
She may not like that, but sure.
I'm sure she'll understand.
Mm.
Right now, her being
Well,
alive
I have an
is
extra
more important.
I have an extra cockpit, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, and Diva's not exactly a bulky person. I'm pretty sure they could fit into whatever cockpit we put them in.
Yeah, it's just I have two fighters stuck together as one, so
Yeah.
Whereas me, my only option is we'd have to strap her to the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think Captain Prana would like that.
probably not.
But
But it would be entertaining.
Also true.
you do hear Prana saying, you know, yeah, you're a complete dick sometimes, but you're also a good captain.
I appreciate your vote of confidence, Captain Prana, but it might benefit us more to banter while you're in your medical bed. To make sure you get there alive first.
Yeah. But as you continue on, you do come across a river that's leading from a cave all the way to the base. But
A river that leads to a cave into the base?
No, it leads from a cave to the base.
yeah,
Okay.
along the way you find other signs such as what's left of a TAF unit, specifically a Logan.
Well, I would recognize that for sure. That's what I was using at the beginning of all this.
But eventually, you manage to get to the launch facility. As you cross into the main gate, you enter the shattered industrial complex that is Launch Facility X-103, which is this place is composed of factories, hangars, and construction facilities that were used to create the immense Warden. The ship towers above all of those facilities, held securely by a maze of cradles, girders, and pipework, larger than anything you saw at Fokker Fields. The emblazoned the emblem of the UEF has been painted over an emblem of the ASC. The name Warden in stark letters on the front of the ship with the registration SDF./X, not dot, at the rear. The damage to the vessel is minor compared to the blasted area around it, as the complex is full of burnt-out buildings and surrounded by the remains of tanks, Veritex, Mecha, Invid, and Bioroids, with the stylings of the Legion Nihilus along the path.
These bastards again.
As you cross the deserted area to find cover in the main hangar with the surviving defenders, there you see an ad hoc base with the UEF's colors at the exterior of the hangar to the ship a few hundred meters away. A massive makeshift defense installation is firing both crude and automated fire onto oncoming enemies, keeping the Invid at bay. You also see mobile gantries framing the ship alongside permanent scaffolding and massive cranes, all loading equipment and supplies into the ship as fast as they can. While inside the base, anyone and everyone possible is being evacuated onto the vessel.
So approaching this clear staging area, Leo would announce, "This is Captain Shia Jereg of Hannibal team, formerly under command of the now fallen Spirit of Carthage. I have injured with me Captain Prana from the Spirit of Carthage. We need to see her to a medbay ASAP."
You see some of the other soldiers pick up Prana and immediately get her to the medical wing, though the whole time the diva is following her.
Probably for the best. Better they stay out of the way of all the chaos.
Though the one thing that you noticed, David, since you've been spending the most time with him, is that he was It seems that being around Prana and seeing her injured like that has affected him.
Well, you don't hang around people for too long without growing a bond with them in some capacity. And I would guess that Captain Prana, while stern as hell, didn't treat the diva too badly.
No, just some stretching.
Ultimately, if the diva is interested in becoming a part of our culture because of this, so much the better. It shows that we can come to an understanding with the Robotech Masters and the Zentradi. This Earth has been at war for far too long.
Yeah, as you're able to get close, you can see the massive warden, which, looking at it up close, you feel like ants. It seems to incorporate elements of not just the original SDF, but also the Stellar series of warships that are used by the UEEF and the ASC. It's a blocky, almost submersible-like design, with enough weapons and defenses to take on almost any number of enemy ships imaginable. It's more like a weaponized space station than a battleship.
That's not a moon. That's a space station.
And as far as how big the thing is, it would be about 1.2 kilometers long.
It's literally an Imperial Star Destroyer. Leo's just like, it's like this thing is designed to live in space forever with something this massive.
The deck of you were able to see that the deck of the ship is lined with craft and pilots to operate an entire division of mecha alone, far more than any ship in the ASC fleet. The mecha are sequestered into smaller sub-hangars due to their numbers, with attached armories and supply bunkers equipped with every weapon or instrument needed by a fleet. After you cross the boarding ramp, you see that the crew of the thing is divided between getting the ship ready, getting equipment stowed, and getting passengers housed. You guys are being directed through the ship by ASC personnel through a bunch of elevators and corridors emerging into the largest flight deck you've ever seen. And waiting for you at the bridge is Ezekiel's saloon, which he is most definitely glad to see you.
Yep.
And good to see you, Hannibal team. And I didn't get a chance to thank you for your assistance in Africa.
She salutes Captain Saloon, despite being the same rank, because it's clear that Saloon's in charge of the warden. He's the skipper. And he's like, Captain Saloon, it's also good to see that you're at least doing fairly well out here, despite all of the chaos. We're here to support you. Make sure everybody gets on board. Make sure this thing gets into the sky.
I received a report that the spirit of Carthage went down a few kilometers from the base. I know you've just arrived, but I have another mission for you. This is a task only you can do. Right now, we need time to get this ship ready for launch. We have tens of thousands of civilians on board this ship. We must get to safety, and right now, that is my primary objective. I'm asking you to help us hold off the Invid. Anything we have in the armory is available to you. We need to defend our loading docks until we're ready to launch. We'll need an hour or as long as you can give us. Once we're ready, you'll only have a brief opportunity to get back on board. Be aware, this may well be a one-way mission, and while I could order you to do this, I won't.
It's at this point that Leo actually chuckles for a second. He's like, Captain Saloon, nearly all of our missions had the potential to be one way. Hannibal team doesn't bulk from a mission just because it's dangerous. We will obviously hold off the Invid. It's clear the Warden is one of humanity's supreme hopes, and the UEEF wouldn't have wanted us here unless they thought we could make a difference. So we definitely will take on this mission.
I don't want to see any more people die today, that's for sure, Captain.
Mm-hmm. But he does give you a bit of an inventory of what's available, and as mentioned before, it's enough to be a full company or platoon's worth of equipment. It's a mix between between ASC and UEF Veritech, as well as UEDF Destroids. Even a few Super Valkyries.
Super Valkyries, that takes Leo back. He definitely would have trained on at least one of those as he was going through officer school.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still inferior to what he has now.
Yeah, but as you're going into this, as you're discussing the matter, you hear a familiar voice right behind you saying, "I'm coming too." And if you turn around, you see in a pilot suit is the Diva.
At that point,
Immediately, David steps up. Excuse me, what the hell do you think you're doing? You are not combat trained.
These things are operating under the same parameters as any destroyed by the Troilians. Because they have a common point of origin. It's not going to take much for me to understand your vessels. I've been with you for months.
Keep going. Go ahead.
Captain Prana isn't here to help, so I'm coming in her stead.
Leo holds up his hand to Dave for a second, just, signaling him to stand back for a second, and steps in front of the Diva. You do understand that out there's a very real chance you could die.
I do. I also understand that if I stand here and do nothing, there's the risk of more people dying.
Okay. I'll allow it. The Diva's going to join Hannibal team on this one.
David reluctantly looks at it, goes, I don't like this idea, but you are the captain. Diva, I'll watch your six.
And as far as what he's assigned, he's going to be going out there in an alpha fighter.
Nice.
As you're now, as you guys gear up, you take positions on one of the loading ramps, which is a bridge on an elevated platform connected by a ramp down to the industrial section. Each walled out with structures designed for mecha to take cover behind and auto turrets to sit in tower positions. After you contact the bridge, you hear a final call going out to every radio. All hands, this is Warden. Prepare for immediate boarding. I repeat, all personnel are to report for immediate boarding. Move it, people. We're on the clock. And as the last defenders and the last of the civilians get across the loading bridges and onto the vessel, a new wave of invid drops and is getting directly into your sights.
All right, Hannibal team. Everybody else is loading up. We gotta make sure they can make it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Invid want to bring a welcoming committee. Well, let's go ahead and greet them, shall we?
We can certainly roll out the red carpet. It'll just be painted in their blood.
Damn right.
Wait, do these things have blood? I turn and look at Diva.
I would rather not say.
Well, whatever
Okay, so you
it is,
don't know.
Well, whatever it is, it's gonna be flowing from them when we're done.
And to start it off, Ailey's just going to chuckle of oh my god. Dirge's question, and then she's just gonna trigger the stealth tech and disappear from view.
And as far as the forces that you're seeing, it is a massive wave of scouts and troopers.
Before they come into combat range, are we on the starboard side or port side of the ship right now?
I'd say starboard side.
Okay, so Leo signals over fleet comms. This is Captain Shia Jedeg of Hannibal team. Starboard side defenders, if you can, give us some covering fire. We're gonna need it.
You do hear an acknowledgement as several batteries get fired from the ship.
Under his voice, but loud enough that short comms pick it up. I love that view every time. Just watching ships fire off volleys.
I get on the short comes and go, I believe what we have here is a target-rich environment.
You know what, Finley? I'll allow that accent this time around.
And you just hear me over short comms. It's days like this that make life worth living.
So
Let's go, Hannibal team.
as you head out, I want each of you to describe one action you're taking when it comes to dealing with this swarm that you're confronted with.
All right. Well, since I'm pretty much the tank of the crew. I'm gonna head up in front, while still being in range, and for any invid that are close, I'll be firing off my defensive laser, and then at the same time launching off my CCAX to take out any of the ones behind them.
All right.
A full volley.
All right. Roll it.
And that will be under man at arms.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm basically defending both the ship and my fellow team members, that is defender and wingmate. So that is full advantage.
Yep.
Six successes, baby!
You also got the number of the beast.
The devil's
Flash
coming
them
after me,
horns!
boys!
But
Nice.
of course, that cannon does clear a path, which does force them to take notice. So,
Who's next?
Yep.
Because Leo's going last.
All right, I'll go ahead and take the next round or the next move. So, Ailey has already disappeared from sight, and she's already heading towards the first swarm. So, but I'm going to use this moment to break out a new move because she's not quite there yet, and she wants to be fast as fuck.
Fast as fuck, boy.
So, Ailey is going to use one of her new skills today, and that is Flash Move.
She's copying Big Bro, I see.
Well, she looks up to him after all. God damn it, Window, quit doing that shit. Alright, so I am also going to be using some tricked out weapons that Dirge managed to make for the mech. Whereas opposed to fists, I now have big ass blades for this Veritech. So Ailey is going to use Flash Move, and she is going to use that to pretty much slice and dice any opposition in front of her. So that is, let's see, that's going to be Dirty Fighter, because ambush. Fox amongst the hounds, because it's a swarm. Anything else I'm missing, Monk?
Let me see.
And mind you, I don't have all my talents listed here because I didn't have enough room. I just put the ones that I've been using the most.
Yeah, the character sheet can't carry all of the new talents and skills we have.
I had to pull up a freaking notepad screen
Yep.
to basically list them.
That's why I've got a Google Doc set up for it.
Yep. I think all of us have done something like that with our
But
additionals.
that I believe will cover it.
So advantage, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling. 2 successes.
I just imagine that classic anime trope of like the screen goes black and you just see a slash come across the screen.
And she is using both blades, by the way, not just one.
I am envisioning this as a bit of spin to win.
Whirling like a dervish, you got that right.
I didn't say it happens so fast. It's literally like that the screen goes black and you just see screen comes back. Alien's there, just sitting there, and all of a sudden, all the enemies just explode.
Though there was one thing that you had noticed, because one of the stray shots hit the eye, and it seemed like it hit the eye of one of the Invid, and it seemed like it exploded afterwards. So,
I relay this over short comms.
so I believe aside
Next
from
is Dirge, and then finally me.
Yep.
So, is there a large group of Invid at some area?
It's a swarm.
Okay. Well, then Dirge is going to multi-process his, or not multi-process, flash move his way around and fire all the missiles! Yes, I am using the talent, all the missiles.
All right.
You know, I almost took that talent, except then I remembered I don't have any missiles on my mech, so I couldn't.
So that lets me roll 14 dice.
Oh, Jesus!
Woo!
I don't
Just
think
normal, I'm
challenge.
guessing? Is that just normal, or am I getting it at edge because I'm doing it also with Mad Thinker?
You're rolling that with advantage.
Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh.
Oh! God damn.
11 successes.
I believe what they call that is cleaning out cleaning things out.
Or taking out the
Oh.
trash.
Hell,
Yeah, that's
fuck it,
a lot
you're
of
firing
trash.
all the missiles. I'm making the call. Weasel unit, total assault!
Idols. Well, we've been joking for the longest time that Dirge follows the Troll Barton School of Combat.
No, he's the truest Macross user here. His stuff's all Itano Circus.
Actually, I'm
Maybe all
thinking
these
more
guys
along the
listen.
lines of Gurren Lagann, the guy who always fires all the missiles.
Oh, God.
But we're Robotech, my friend, and Itano Circus is a staple of Macross.
Fair. But I believe
That leaves Leo.
Yep.
So Leo watches as people, well, he watches as Dave goes in hardcore, just nailing everything as the mobile artillery that he is. Chuckles a bit at Ailey trying to imitate him. Chuckles even more at Dirge failing to imitate him, but still going fast as fuck boy. And decides it's time for something a little different. I'm going to be using Omniprescient for this because clearly I have an awareness of the whole battlefield, being able to see it as far as the eye can see. I'm not going to miss anything. But I'm going to Denko Seka in, separate into the Alpha and Beta fighter, and gunpod my way through the swarm. Using my my ultimate fusion. That's gonna give me. Oh God, hold on. That's gonna give me a lot. It's just. Yeah, that's gonna get. It's gonna give me 13 dice
Ooh.
at advantage.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, should I have had more dice when I was rolling?
No, we're using very
Oh.
specialized equipment suites,
Ah, fair enough.
and in the case of Dirge, he used a talent.
Which doubled the skill on my equipment suite.
That's fair. I was looking at that one earlier, and I technically did take it as well for the missiles for my Veritech.
Yep. At the end of all that, the fighters recombine, and basically he's holding both gun pods again. He's like, "Who else wants some?"
Mhm. But in the midst of the carnage, you do hear Saloon. Saloon over comm saying, "Hannibal, we're starting the final countdown to launch. Be advised that Ops is reading a wave of enemy bogies coming in." And
I think, considering we're in the middle of the firefight, I don't really have time to respond in the affirmative.
yeah, the Invid are continuing their attack against you, but are soon under attack on their own end as weapons fire down, cutting apart their formations and scattering their troops. But it's not from the Warden's weapons. Instead, you see a vast formation of Bioroids on hover sleds, along with drop ships and interceptors of master design.
Thinking quickly, Leo actually reaches out on an open frequency. Leggett, is that you? Are you supporting us here?
As you do see what that same spear-clad Bioroid that you saw during that previous encounter with him thing. Greetings, Micronians. We mean you no harm. We are merely here to help. After he jumps off of his sled and pulls a dragoon on a invid. And that then opens the hatch, revealing that, yep, it's the legate.
Rest assured,
along
we can
with-
use all the help we can get, Troyans. We welcome you.
And accompanying the legate is his primes.
Over the fleet frequency to let the warden know, and the crew of the warden and the UEF in that respect. This is Captain Chia Jerig to UEF forces on the warden. Do not fire upon the bioroids of master design. This is the force led by the legate, who previously spoke with us, parlayed, and is here to help us to fight these Invid.
Well, the other primes that address themselves as Adria, Penlos, and Exertia.
All right. Speaking with the legate, Leo just goes, "Well met, and thank you for the assistance. We're going to need everything we can get."
We have come to parlay with the ASC, and particularly with you, Hannibal team. He addresses you as such because he, technically speaking, doesn't know your names.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, the Diva is our future and our past. All we ask is that you allow him to evacuate aboard your ship, but also that you take our own ships with you. Our drop ships are filled with Troilian civilians. We have no desire to fight you any longer, and in exchange for protecting our remaining people, you have my word and the oath of the Legion and Cartia that we will aid you in defending your ship until it is able to launch.
At this point, Leo goes, "Well met. Legate, my name is Captain Shiajetig. I am the leader of Hannibal team, and I have the authority to accept your offer, and I do so. We will protect your civilians as we launch, and we will protect the Diva, though he himself has chosen to come upon field of combat as well. We'll make sure that he makes it aboard."
David points over to the Diva's mech.
Mm-hmm.
He himself felt that he could no longer stand by and watch while others did what sat and protected him. I find it admirable, but we will make sure that he continues to live. We understand his importance all too well. We'll appreciate any help you can give us. Good luck, and fight well.
He nods as him and his adjuncts get back in their particular mechs.
And at that point, Leo was broadcasting any of the negotiations with the Troilians openly, simply because he wanted everybody, at least in the warden and nearby, to see that they are here in good faith and are not here for subterfuge or betrayal.
Right now, they're allies.
Yep.
Yeah. But with that, the Master's bioroids take up defensive positions around the launch facility. A calm before the storm, before the next wave of Invid arrives. Former enemies, now turned odd allies, wait for the next attack. As the Warden slowly approaches the end of its countdown while the last of the civilians hurry aboard, one of the Legion's bioroids is seen screaming as a pair of black claws, like those of a stealth bioroid, impale it from behind. Beneath the howling gale thrown up by the Warden's engine spooling up, bioroids bearing the mark of Legion Nihilus appear as if from thin air. Chief among them is a golden-hued Imperial. And over its loudspeaker, you hear the voice of the counselor saying, "Anything that happens now is on your own heads. You should have given me the diva. You should have simply bowed down to your betters and taken my offer to allow you to live. But now it no longer matters. My new flagship is here in the form of this human behemoth. My diva is here. And when your world burns under the fire of the Invid, I will have everything that I want. My future and my empire will be in my hands. Now, my legion, attack and destroy them. Claim our future, capture the diva, and let us be rid of this cursed world."
Oh, you motherfucker! You're gonna do this now?
Leo, over open comms. "You can't be better than us when you're just a corpse walking." To the counselor, before he starts jetting his way there, he's gonna fucking kill this guy. He's going to fucking kill this guy.
Yep, Headhunter is now activated.
I immediately I tell the diva, "Diva, get back on the warden. You are not prepared. You are too important for this."
Ailey takes up defensive position by the diva to better cover him.
Mm-hmm.
I give Ailey a short thanks for the assist. As I run off to go help Leo, because I know he's gonna need backup for this.
Yeah, because what I'm setting it up now, but what we're going to be shortly dealing with is a three-way dance.
The slog.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so where's Dirge in all of this?
I'll be defending on the diva if anything gets too close.
Gotcha.
And I've got to adjust some minis because I'm dealing with swarms, and that's the normal way armor is going to work. Doesn't apply.
Man, I'm glad that I have both of the resistances of my ships combined. Having high resist really helps.
Alright, so pretty much it's going to be Ailey and Dirge v. the Nihilus and the Invid, while Leo and Dave are taking on the Invid, the Nihilus, and the Counselor. Got it.
The Nihilus Legion is the Counselor's Legion, so yeah.
Well, the Swarms and the Counselor himself.
Yeah, well, Counselor's not gonna have a good time.
No,
That
he's not.
motherfucker is
No,
mine.
he's not if we have anything to say about it.
He's a dead man walking, he just doesn't know it yet.
I also anticipate the Legate's going to get it on that fight, so...
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, three talented three talented ace pilots, I should say, on one old man who probably has never gotten this into the thick of it before. Yeah, this is classic. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Pretty much.
But yeah, what we've got here is four total factions. There's Hannibal team, both Legion Nihilus and Legion Encartia, and the Invid.
Yep. Legion Encartia is helping us. The Invid are fighting everybody. Legion Nihilus wants to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I gotta correct you, Monk. You said this was gonna be a three-way dance. Nuh-uh. We got two teams on each side. We got a tag match, player. Someone call Teddy Long.
Tag team champions of the world.
I facepalm so hard.
Don't do that. You'll hurt your face and your palm. I don't know which one will hurt worse.
Nah, I've got a notoriously hard head.
So yeah, your palm will hurt worse.
Yes.
You need that for things like art. Don't do that.
Zan, you have yet to realize just how much of a walking disaster I am.
No, John's been pretty thorough about that. I fully understand how much of a walking disaster you are. I still will say things at your expense simply because I'm your friend.
So,
Friends like me, who needs enemies?
I should note, the Legate isn't a destroyer class Bioroid.
Okay.
His primes are in commander class. and they have four more destroyer Bioroids.
There's no kill like overkill.
Whereas Legion Nihilus is a collection of an Imperial Bioroid and 3 Stealth Bioroids and 6 Invit Fighter Bioroids. Meanwhile, you've got 3 squads of 12 Fighter Scouts on the Invit side, as well as about a total of 12 Shock Troopers and 2 Invit Enforcers.
This doesn't sound very nice.
That's because it isn't.
This, in fact, sounds like bullshit.
That's because it is.
That's fine. That's fine. We can deal with bullshit. We've dealt with worse.
As a good friend of mine likes to say when she is absolutely plastered, I got this.
Here's a case of, oh, look how many enemies they brought for us. They should have brought more.
Hey guys, how's your health plan? Apparently it's great.
I was gonna go with the whole. Well, you take the 500 on the left. I'll take the 500 on the right.
Got it, best buddy.
I was expecting John to go, screw you, I'll take 501.
The bullshit level, it's over 9,000!
By the way, did we forget to make a call earlier?
Well, we haven't made the change. He's still setting up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, some of them are going to appear in double digits. Since that was because I didn't know if I was dealing with normal class or mech class when I set up their minis.
Gotcha.
And I don't feel like going into them manually, so just divide by 10 in that situation.
Gotcha.
But
oh, hold on, let me mute.
Oh, look at all that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the big one. It's combat time!
That's quite a spread. I don't think we've seen a spread like this ever since we started the Cloister.
I don't think we've
That is a
seen
buffet,
many.
all right.
I think you're right about that, Zan.
It wasn't like this in Emberwind. It definitely wasn't. We had something near to this with Sword World, but with the way that we could eat people with AoEs in Sword World, nah. Miss me with that shit.
Whew.
All right. In this case, I suppose we should be determining which group goes first.
So here's how it's going to go. First it's you guys.
Okay.
Then it's Legion in Cartia, so the Legate's Legion.
Okay.
Which are these guys over here, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yep. The people on our side.
And after that, it's Legion Nihilus and the Invid.
Okay.
I hope the Invid fight Legion Nihilus. That would make things a lot easier. In the business, this is what we call foreshadowing. All right. Well, as I said, Leo's kind of already fucking pissed off that this gold motherfucker keeps coming back. So he's dashing in with his flash move towards the counselor himself. Obviously using his ultimate fusion ability, and puts me at advantage for both Exemplar and Headhunter. And yeah, when he gets there, this guy is not going to like the fact that there is this giant fused mech that's going to shoot him at point blank range.
Damn.
I would like to say, Monk, that I also ignore 2 damage. Or 2 armor, I mean. That was only 9 dice. 5, 2, 6, 5, 5, 5, 4, 1, 6. Jesus Christ!
You've got.
I think he did.
I don't see any 5s. I see 6s, 2s, and 1s. And a
No,
single
you hover
one.
over-
Roll on the screen. On the chat.
If you hover over the roll on the chat, that's it shows what I'm seeing on my dice, which is 5, 2, 6, 5, 5, 5, 4, 1, 6.
That's crazy because on the screen I'm showing, let's see, 6, 6, 6, 4, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, that's not what I'm seeing. It's
You know what
which
that
one
means,
is
don't
easy
you?
dicey.
Gotta love roll 20.
Yep.
It's roll
means you
20,
might,
roll 20.
yeah, you might need to reload.
Anyway, regardless, Monk, do I have to hit the button already?
13 damage ignores 2 armor, Monk. Against the counselor.
Yeah, whose armor is meant to be is meant
Monk, did I short circuit the battle?
let's see, 13. So here, it is he's going to be doing something I haven't done yet, and that is the good old hardware jettison. Using hardware to take some of the hits.
Yep.
So namely his polearm and his layered armor get that. So he mainly just has his disc gun pod. But even with all of that, that's still not enough. That's still not in.
He still goes down, doesn't he?
Yeah, you just one-shotted the counselor.
Button! Yes! Yeah. So as he dashed in, just jetting in as close as he could, over open comms and speakers, you hear Leo scream out, "I've had enough of your golden bullshit!" And
I'm ruling that you didn't you didn't dash in. You used the cannon.
oh yeah, that works. That works too.
Right in the middle of his speech.
Yeah.
Bitches
I've
love
had enough
cannons.
of your golden bullshit. And and there he goes, melted like a. Hold on. He took it like a bitch.
Well, you know, bitches do love cannons.
But
And at that point, Leo looks around at the rest of Legion Nihilus and goes, "Run."
yeah, unfortunately,
You go full 11 Doctor. Basically, run.
Exactly.
no, it doesn't seem like they're going to be running. They're more shocked that you somehow appeared right behind their lines to get right in his face.
I mean, Denko Seka's a thing.
But they didn't know about that.
And even if they did know about it, they still don't know how it fucking works. All right,
you
well,
do see them get
that's
into
Leo's turn.
Even at the end, it's still the headhunter.
Oh yeah. Oh
And,
yeah.
Don't they have that whole thing where if the leader goes down, they completely shut down?
No, that's different.
Not
No,
in
that-
this case.
That has to do when it's the clones.
Fair enough. Well, I figure most of these were the clones.
No, you're the clone.
It's a different setup, probably because of the fact that the primes are there to still give orders.
Fair enough. And I'm guessing it's those stealth bioroids.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, since I am the cover man, I'm gonna lay down man in arms to provide some covering fire for Leo there. Of course, defender and wingmate kick in as well. So that's 6 for advantage. Yeah, I'm not gonna let. I'm getting geared up after seeing that takedown. Oh, and I'm probably gonna get a little up close so I can also kick in Fox amongst the Hounds, which gives me the Fox element as well. So that gives me 2 extra dice to play with.
There's a reason the number 9 is my favorite number, and I'm glad that it served me well this time round.
So yeah, let's roll this. 5 successes.
All right. Where are you aiming it at?
I was aiming at those stealth bioroids.
All right. I don't think you've got any armor piercing, do you?
Actually, it's the Seacax, so I would assume. Actually, yeah, the Seacax do.
All right. How much?
Let's see. 2 penetration.
In that case, 1, 2.
And the third one's limping.
So before they even have right as they're trying to set up a defensive position because somebody just fucking teleported and took out their commander. Then they end up being reminded of why we love the smell of napalm in the morning. Or to put it another way,
Go ahead.
y'all talking some mad shit for some solid looking grid coordinates.
Yeah, I just basically go, hey, don't you bitches forget about me over here. Boom, boom, boom.
You're talking mad shit when you're in Hannibal team range.
But so I believe that leaves Dirge and Ely.
Ailey.
Did I not say that he was a dead man walking and he couldn't be superior to us when he was a corpse in waiting? So, apparently the dice gods showed no mercy. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, man.
Alright, Dirge, you wanna go?
Yeah, I think we need to thin out the Invid side a little bit. They're looking a little too heavy for my tastes. So, let's have one of them shock troopers meet the Dirge School of Combat.
All right.
We're not going to go full on all the missiles this time. We're just going to do all the bullets and weapons at once.
Alpha Strike?
Relentless Assault is what it's called.
I know, I was just saying Alpha Strike, because that's what we in the business know that it's an Alpha Strike.
And we'll do that with Flash Move.
All right.
Is that normal or edge?
Roll with advantage.
And
Very nice.
that also gets ignores 2 armor.
All right.
Everybody just
The
has
shock
ways of
troopers
ignoring
are the shock troopers are swarms, so armor doesn't matter. So armor piercing doesn't matter. That's set. So that's 1. So that's a whole lot of dead shock trooper.
More like shocked trooper.
Mm-hmm. But
All right.
so who's got next?
That would be me.
Mhm.
And, Ailey doesn't want to get too far from the diva, so she is going to go for this one right here. So she instantly goes stealth mode and gets behind this guy and plants both blades through his mech. So that is going to be with close quarters. That, let's see, that gives me access to the Fox and the Hound suite, so that's going to be 2 extra dice. There's my window, there's my window. So... And that's going to be with advantage. Because sneaky, sneaky.
Sneaky breaky.
5 successes.
All right, which one's getting targeted? So factoring in resistance,
Let's see.
Armor's gone.
They
and
ignore they ignore 5 light class armor and deal 2 times light class damage. When I'm using 2. So I effectively did 10 damage.
Because you're a mecha now. They're mecha-sized swords.
Mhm.
So they ignore 2 mecha armor.
Fair.
Which, in that being the case, that's one. That's 1 dead.
God damn.
We have weapons. We have the technology.
But-
Alrighty, so I believe it's now the Legion Carta's turn.
No, we still got the
Or
diva.
Oh, that's
Eva's
right.
turn.
The diva, who is piloting a solo alpha fighter, is still in fighter mode, and you see him essentially do a missile run.
He's strafing using missiles.
Yep. And he's going to be rolling that as normal, aiming at the swarms of invid, specifically the fighters. Which only gets 2 successes, but that's two less fighters. And that leaves the Leggett and his unit.
They're the strongest. I shouldn't say strongest. They're the most numerous of the forces on our side.
Yep. And you see that he is taking aim using the. He specifically is going after the last stealth bioroid because, well, payback. And is mainly using his polearm. So let me get the sheet for that. And he's going to be rolling with precise targeting. And that's going to be a couple more because of his equipment. Since he's using Swift Strike. So he's rolling 8 with advantage.
Nice.
And the stealth bioroid is now out, which just leaves the Invid fighters on that end. And now for the commanders. So hold on a moment. All right. Let's see, since they are going to be pilots, I'm going to be rolling on their setup. So the commander bioroids are going to be going up against the remaining Invid fighters. So let me roll for the first one. 5. So that's 1 on its last legs. And then for the second, that's a whiff. And once more, 3. So that strips the other one of armor. And now for the destroyers. Let's see, that's 4 destroyers. See, they're going to be rolling at 7 and rolling with advantage. So that's another one that's at failing, and with only 1 structure. And again with 4 successes. They all have resistance 1, so it's -1 success. Let's see, and leave 1 more. Hang on, that leaves them. So because Legion Nihilist pissed both of you guys off, they're now on failing legs, and now it's their turn. And it's going to be a roll of 4. 5 successes. So who's Actually, you know what? I missed it. I misdid that because not with advantage on their case. So it's 2 successes.
I think almost all of us have resist too, Monk.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, second verse, same as the first. Also 2. 3 successes, and that one is going to hit David.
Alright.
So that's -1 armor.
Let's see, was it goes in here? Okay,
One more.
that's a whiff.
Yep,
Swing and a miss.
that settles it for the Invid Fighter Bioroids. Now for the Invid. Starting with the Enforcers. So let me have that in my notes. And the main thing it's going to be using is those triple beam cannons you see on the shoulders.
Is it also trying to imitate Troa Barton, Monk?
Alright, Enforcer 1, that is a miss. 2 is also a miss. Now for the Shock Trooper Swarm, which is only 1 dice.
Unless it had gotten a critical, it wasn't hitting anybody.
No, even then it can't. Even then, that's only 2 successes, so it's still it's guaranteed it can't hit us. We are invincible against that.
Right, and now for the
fucking invincible.
now for the Scouts.
Of which there are a lot.
All that you missed.
Well, that's the first swarm. Now for the other 2. Yeah, that was weird.
These guys apparently have some real problems.
Five. So factoring in resistance, that would be a total of 3 damage. Who's gonna take the hit?
You know, I haven't been using them a lot, so I'm actually going to do something you haven't been doing a lot myself, Monk. I have 5 hardware points on just my Alpha Fighter I can jettison.
All right.
And I've got 9 hardware points on the Beta Fighter. I'm going to, I'm simply going to, jettison, my Bombay from the Beta Fighter, and 2 of my sets of missiles, since I have like 6 uses of them. I'm gonna jettison 2 sets of missiles as well to just take those hits. I haven't really been using them. I tend to use my gun pods more than anything because I'm always in close. So yeah, I jettison 3 hardware points to take that.
All right. Which means we're back at the top of the order.
Okay. Well, at this point, Leo's just been shot at by the Invid, and he's not too happy about that. He's a little pissed off. So he's like... At this point, Leo's just like, you fuckers are trying to ruin my day. I'm not having any of it. So, using Man-at-Arms to... No, using... You know what? I'm going to use counter position. I was just shot at, so I'm going to respond after recognizing the threat. I'm going to counterattack the fighter scouts. Nine hits, Monk.
9.
So you're aiming at the swarm?
At the fighter scout swarm that shot at me. Yeah.
All right. So that's 9 hits away from them. So that swarm is certainly depleted.
So as they shot at me and I jettisoned small things here and there to take shots that would have hit me otherwise. Leo is grumbling under his breath. Everybody hears it over short comms. Can you just stop ruining my day already? And then after the explosions clear, they think they've got me because they hit some scattered missiles and bombs. They're going to leave some explosion and debris behind, and because they think they've got me, when all of the machine gun fire from my gun pods, their energy gun pods, springs out of the clouds of debris and smoke, it smokes 9 of them. Just sons of bitches.
Oh yeah. So who's got next?
I'll take next on this because I'm sort of really at this point. I'm not worried about the nihilists because they're useless against us. I'm more worried about the Invid at this point. So I'm gonna turn my cannons towards them and fire another round of man-at-arms with the same setup as before.
All right.
Six successes.
All right. Which part of the Invid were you aiming at?
The part's still moving?
Those spider scouts seem to be the biggest threat, so I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take out that one group first, and then we'll use the rest on whatever's left.
All right, so that's gone, and that's -3 on this one.
The less of them, the better.
Indeed.
So let's see, that's 2 out of 4.
Yep. So Ailey or Dirge, you're next.
Ailey gets to go first this time.
Okay. So, Ailey, let's see. Any of these guys in semi-close range, so that way she's not getting too far?
Close enough.
Alright. So, you know what? We're gonna sneak up on these guys. Because all of them are looking pretty beat up right now. So Ailey's gonna drop back into stealth mode and pop right here, and she's going to do a little spinning number to hit all these guys at once with both her blades. So, does that sound good to you, Monk?
Yep.
Alright, rolling. 8 successes!
That's a
Nice.
lot of blood.
So remind me, which is the target?
This group. Because they're looking pretty beat up.
All right.
Oh, that takes out all of them.
Yeah, that clears them all out.
I look over at Ailey and before going, fucking hell, I gotta do it again.
Sorry, Dirge.
All the missiles! Let's take out the fighter scouts this time. I think we're getting rid of some fighter scouts.
So that one's out, and one takes -1.
And the Invid are probably having a very hard time tracking me, aren't they?
Yeah. At least when it comes to tracking you with missiles, the only way that they can get at you is either bullets or good old dumbfire.
Yeah, because for some reason I'm not showing up on their radar, and they must be very pissed about that.
None of us on Hannibal team are getting tracked. They can't. They're firing blind. They're just getting lucky.
Yeah. Then we have the matter of the diva who's deciding to follow suit when it comes to their own batch of missiles. And I'm gonna roll that with advantage.
And as the diva lays in with his missiles, I sniffle and wipe my eye. Go, they grow up so fast.
But it's not aiming at the scout, but had them essentially doing a pass, dropping the missiles, and having them aim right on the enforcer from above.
What enforcer? I don't see an enforcer.
Not anymore.
And with the blast also taking out the last of the shock troopers. So that leaves the enforcer, and it is going to.
What about the other?
Oh,
team?
right.
Yep, the Legion Carta.
Right. Yep.
Carta.
So first off, the legate is going to be going. You see him try and do a polearm throw with his polearm, aiming it straight at that enforcer.
Nice.
He did.
And right through the eye. And the commanders are going to try and focus fire against the remaining scouts. Okay, that's 3 down from the first volley. Then another 3.
And they did.
They did.
Mm-hmm. But as soon as the firing stops, you immediately hear Saloon going, Hannibal, everyone, get your butts back. Get your butts in here, or you're going to be left behind.
All right, everybody, let's get back in there. And obviously, he transforms into fighter form to jet back as fast as he can.
Sure,
In fact,
yeah, whatever.
docked form actually has higher speed than just normal fighter form. It's really funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh. But as the final blows fell this last wave, the warden begins to lift off as you guys get in, including piggybacking some of the bioroids, since bioroids can't fly. The anti-grav generators on the warden taking it from the cradle into the sky, and its main engines lifting it above the base. As the Invid horde closes. And as it seems to overwhelm, you see the warden unleash its firepower on the Invid, destroying hundreds of thousands with every salvo. The land below is a molten rock as it climbs further. But as even more Invid show up, almost darkening the sky, beams of plasma rain down in a last-ditch attempt to try and take it out, which fortunately manages to endure because this thing is this thing is meant for this sort of thing. As it as but the bad news is that when it finally does get into orbit, it's clear that there's far more invid out in orbit than was originally thought, and you end up seeing one single word as a message from Admiral Hunter: Exodus. Recognizing the word, you see that Commander Saloon has chosen to do a fold. The ship, after a glow forms around the ship and creates a vortex that destroys some of the invid that were around you guys. The fold ends on the orbit of a planet that appears like Earth, but is definitely not. With Saloon noting, according to Admiral Hunter, this is the Osiris colony. But before you ended up leaving, there was one final message that was sent. To anyone who is in range of this transmission, the Earth has fallen. As we speak, the Invid are cementing their hold on our world. The military forces of the Army of the Southern Cross and the expeditionary forces have failed. We are no longer able to protect the Earth from these invaders, and we are being forced to evacuate everyone we can into space. Every ship capable of evacuating our people are taking off from military bases and airfields across the planet. If you can hear this message, get to a shuttle if you can. To the people of the colonies, you are our last, best hope. We must pull together, now more than ever, and help those who manage to escape from our homeworld. There will be those who are alone, tired, hungry, and scared. If you can, then share what you have and protect those who have nothing left. To all of those humans who can hear my voice, understand that the worst fears of mankind have come to pass. We have lost our home. To all the people of Earth who cannot make it to vessels departing this world, and to anyone on Earth who can still hear this message, understand this. We will return. We will never give up. We will take back the Earth, no matter what. This is my pledge. Do not give up hope. Live, resist, survive, and endure. For as long as you can, fight the Invid, protect your loved ones. Do not give up hope. We will be back. The United Earth Expeditionary Forces will not abandon you. We will not forget you. One day, we shall return. And until then, watch the skies.
From his cockpit, you just see David with this despairing grin on his face as he just smashes his hand into the screen in pure rage, knowing that even after all this, they essentially lost the fight. Maybe not the war, but the fight.
But as you look at the planet that houses the Osiris colony, you do see several other ships, enough to make a decent-sized fleet. Each of them, no doubt, carrying hundreds of soldiers and civilians, in addition to the 15,000 civilians that you all rescued from the base here. After a bit of time, you're able to land on a base that's on planet. A decent-sized base. This was one of the earliest colonies that the UEF established many years ago, which has since been able to develop into a decent-sized colony, almost akin to a small city-state. within it, as within it, you see the one thing that you can't help but notice is it's not just humans. It's not just human civilians and soldiers, but also Troilians and even Zentradi who had evacuated. Whatever they were at this point, all of them are now Earth survivors, and whether they like it or not, Osiris is now their home. So the battle may have been lost, but there are still options out there, as well as a place to attempt to rebuild. And after a bit of debriefing and a bit of calming down when it comes to the diva, we see that Tieta and the legate are in a meeting room of their own, one that he had called for. The legate turns to Xia and simply asks, speaking off the record, why did you agree to side with me instead of the counselor? You could have sided with either of us, and yet you chose my side.
Off the record? In my past, I lost nearly everything and everyone due to greed and fear. You came to us not with a gun, but with an open hand. You were willing to talk. You were willing to be equal. The counselor never showed any of that. He always thought that we were simply inferior and should accept our natural place under him. It's a fairly simple choice at that point. Rather to die free standing side by side with an equal than live a slave.
In this regard, we are more equal than you think. I have not heard any transmission from the greater Troilian Empire since I arrived here. If they're still around, I don't know. And in the meantime, with your planet, well, we know how that's turned out.
Well,
But we don't have time to worry about that sort of thing. If it means building a new home on this Osiris colony, as you called it, then that is what we'll have to do. But I do have one question to ask of you. The Invid seem to not even notice you were there unless you attacked. Why?
that's also linked to me and mine. There's an invention my family came up with. It's the entire reason that they were destroyed. A new way of generating energy that didn't rely on protoculture, but could still support all of the Robotech, Veritech, and other protoculture-based technologies with the same or even higher amount of energy output than protoculture itself. From what we've been told from you and others, the Invid detect protoculture. Our units are equipped with these new generators. Our engineers are calling them starburst engines as a shorthand, because their full name is a little mouthy. But what they do is that they use a controlled supernova as an energy source.
is that the reason you were able to move so instantaneously in that fight?
Part of the reason, though I will admit it also is due to the fact that our inventor, engineer, scientist, madman, Dirge Finley, is also rather genius, and he was able to put to reality what I spoke to him about in words.
I resemble that remark.
You're not in the room.
He's doing the old sneezing off screen.
That works.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Sneezes,
all of
gets
a
more grease across his face.
Yeah, all of a sudden, while working on something in a completely different part of the ship, Dirge sneezes and he doesn't know why.
Yep. It's with this technology, this energy source, that we hope to sever our reliance on protoculture once and for all. And this was before we ever knew about the Invid, because our impression of what started this war was that first the Zentradi, and then you Troilians, who we call the Robotech Masters, were after our protoculture. So we figured if we could just get rid of our reliance on it, then you'd have no reason to fight us anymore.
Well, I suppose on some way you got what you had wished, since I doubt any of the remaining Troilians have any interest in continuing that fight, especially now that we're all essentially one group of people on this new colony.
I certainly hope so.
There will no doubt be fights and old grudges, but as long as it remains a few rounds of fisticuffs between people, I think it'll work out. But there is, but I would like to offer something. If I provide some of the schematics, some of the methodologies of Troilian tech, do you suppose that this technology you had introduced could be applied to our bioroids?
I don't see why, on paper, that could not happen. That it would be able to interact with your bioroids, since our Robotech and Veritechs are based off of what we were able to learn from your wreckages. But that's not a decision I can make alone. I'd have to speak with Admiral Hunter and other leaders of our people to make sure that we at least cover all the bases. You're going to be our allies and our friends here in the future. I don't see why we should hold back. But, like you said, old grudges, old heartache.
Mm-hmm. I suppose in that way we should consider this an opportunity for both of our kinds to rebuild on this neutral place.
That is certainly what I hope we will all do as well.
But if I may have a personal favor,
Go ahead.
I'd like to see your actual face, not the one hidden behind a demon's mask.
That's fine by me. So Leo lifts up his hands, takes the mask down and off his face, so that the legate can see his real face.
Mm-hmm.
And off the record, the name I give to everyone here is a pseudonym. You can call me Leo.
Leo. appropriate name given your particular brand of color. But of course, after that meeting goes down, he gets to work on getting the schematics sent. Which as soon as Dirge hears about schematics for what everyone's calling Troilian Max, because there's no reason to go by the term Robotech Masters anymore. Everybody sees Dirge make a beeline for it.
Toys must dismantle.
To the point where someone's about to take blueprints, and then they see a zoom, and the blueprints are now gone. Pretty much. And of course, by the time everybody figures out, one, it was Dirge, and two, where he is, he's already got the walls lined with different blueprints and taking notes.
And his hair is looking even more crazy than usual, which is pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. Which all that one of the assistant engineers says is, Dirge, I'm just going to close this door. Just slowly close it, and Dirge hears that assistant say to the others, he wasn't here, I wasn't here, you weren't here, none of this happened. And everybody else just goes right back to work. With a few people going, shouldn't he take a break eventually? Isn't he gonna sleep or something? Like, he'll only sleep if someone knocks him out.
Sleep is an inferior replacement for caffeine.
We're with another person saying, worst case scenario, just call David, he'll take care of it.
No, won't.
The meantime, as far as Prana and the Diva, the Diva does get a bit of an arm punch teasingly from Prana, but she's still only in as good a spot to just move around, and even then not move around too much, otherwise she risks reopening that wound. But David, looking from afar, you can see that over the last 6 months, and especially getting to know firsthand what humanity goes through, you can see that the Diva's matured a little bit.
You just see David you can still see that the pain in his heart from losing Earth, especially because it's more of an amplified version of his past trauma. But seeing that the Diva has matured, has become stronger through all this, it fills him with a little bit of hope. He just thinks to himself, we lost a lot. We didn't lose everything. Maybe we got a chance after all.
And in the meantime, Ailid, what would you be doing on the Warden, in the aftermath of all this? Since everybody's starting to kind of settle into this new colony that is now their home.
I figured at some point she'd probably just be staring out one of the windows, looking very lost in thought. She's got a lot on her plate because, I mean, she just got her brother back in her life, but they've lost so much and there's still so much to rebuild. She's starting to feel the pressure of it all.
And in the as you do as you do go about things, you do see that that Leo spent has been spending time with a certain dark-haired woman that none of you had seen before. And yes, it is at this point that I'm introducing Iris.
All right.
So is Ailey gonna get the formal introduction or what? I mean, that's her future sister-in-law.
You won't get a formal introduction if I don't want you to have one. They've got too much to catch up on for him to care about that right now.
Fair enough.
Not to mention the fact that he needs to go find a man who may or may not have boarded the ship and jettison him off a planet at some point.
As far as if you're talking about if it's who you're talking about, he's dead.
Oh, did they leave him on Earth? Or did I go and find him?
He was in he would.
If I remember right, he was in prison. I remember Hunter talking about that.
Yep, he was in prison.
He was under house arrest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was under house arrest in San Francisco. He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead at that point.
I'd say he's dead as a doornail, but my Randy Savage impression sucks. But as the weeks go on, you do see more and more people start to settle in and do their best to try and move forward with the idea of rebuilding. This does mean that entertainers become a very valued commodity, and the diva is singing again. Not singing as far as the control method that was what the diva was used for in the past, but just to help people get some kind of levity in the situation they're in. Because
not too far removed from what idol singers were doing during the Zentradi War.
Yep. But even with all of that and the sharing of technology and the sharing of equipment and the like, since while there are a few scuffles here and there, there's not really as much interest in renewing old grudges. Mostly because survival on this new planet is of a higher priority.
Mm-hmm.
Most of all of you, whether it be in or out of Hannibal team, end up settling into either leadership roles in the military or in semi-civilian roles. Obviously, with Hannibal team directly, you're still tied to the military in some form. It's just taking different roles than you would have in the ASC. Technically speaking, the final authority is the UEF, which would make this. I think this would make this colony technically a stratocracy.
If it's ruled by the military, yes, it is a stratocracy.
Yeah. It's something that's up in the air because the UEF is the United Earth Expeditionary Force. So whether or not they count as a military could be a matter for debate. But I'm not going to pull a Starfleet is not a military kind of thing with it. It's more of it's 60-40 military. since the whole point of the UEF was to find planets suitable for colonization. And of course Osiris definitely is. And in fact, it's the environment outside of the city is a very temperate one and very forested one.
Yeah.
I mean, the flora and fauna is different. I'd say the analog would be northern and western Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So Norway and the more northern parts of the UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or to put another way, Scots Norway.
Eh.
So an environment that would be perfect for both Scots and Vikings. Make of that what you will. The only real adjustment is the fact that the day cycle is 32 hours instead of 24.
That's good for me. More time to work.
Still a day night cycle. There was consideration of trying to integrate into a 24-hour calendar, but that didn't stick. Though it's still a 7-day week. Seasons are not too far removed from Earth, although it is, since the area you're in is dealing with that environment I mentioned, you have long summers and winters and very short middle seasons. But even with all of this settling in, there's still in the back of everyone's minds that particular promise that was made. Even with all the settling and the rebuilding and the like, that one day they would go back to Earth. And a signal is put out to try and find other ships that fleet but may have been stranded due to emergency folds.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a story for another time. And with that, the particular story that we've been doing for the last few weeks, the Hannibal campaign, comes to a close. So this was an interesting affair that was definitely straying a bit from the usual stuff.
A lot more cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more roleplay in general, which I personally loved.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot more needing to fill in the blanks with some parts. I think the only thing that I was kind of iffy on was how the GDI got written out. The whole satellite thing, and then they're just taken out, and now the UEF is taking over.
Mm-hmm.
I get that that's a consequence of the whole Frankensteining 3 series together with Robotech, but I don't know. Maybe maybe the module could have done with with an intervening thing. Then again, I'm not sure how you'd factor in a civil war and a invasion at the same time. So it's one of those things where, could it be expanded upon? Maybe, but I'm not going to lose sleep about it not being expanded upon. And we didn't do the rules as to the letter as I would have liked, and some of that is due to issues that we had with the sheet on Roll20.
Mm.
I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but it was a little bit annoying that certain things don't stick on the sheet, or stick in a weird way because of one line of code being off, probably. For example,
Or
the whole
the
thing with the dramas.
or the whole thing with the dice showing one thing but actually showing rolling a different.
That's a Roll20 problem, just in general when it comes to 3D dice. But I'd say the big one was that, as well as the fact that burnout is supposed to go up based on your level, and for us it never did. Like, the idea is if you
mattered anyway, we never ran into that problem.
Well,
Well-
burnout is supposed to be the limit of how many dice you can roll without accruing stress.
Yep.
Mm.
So anytime we rolled huge, gigantic amounts of dice, we were supposed to incur stress.
But because of the fact that burnout didn't increase as you level up, I just didn't use it. There also, as far as the companion characters, I had considered using them more early on, but with the way the story was flowing, I just couldn't find a strong enough spot for them.
Yeah. Not to mention our team did pretty well with each other.
Mhm.
Yeah. There was definitely a very strong amount of teamwork for this campaign.
Well, there's no I in team, and what I've had to deal with some folk who over romanticize freeform design, saying that classes are too limiting. I always counter with the fact that people are going to fall into particular roles voluntarily or not, and even without any prompting from me, you guys definitely did that.
Mm.
Because even with all the options you had, you guys did fall into certain combat roles and combat motifs. You know, Zan's character being the headhunter, John, your character being the fire support, Dirge being Daka, and Kay being sneaky.
Or DACA.
Now, obviously, with some of the mechs, I did kind of cheat. Like, technically speaking, you weren't supposed to be getting UEF mechs until the final defense mission.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided, you know what? Given the connection that you have with the UEF at that point, why wouldn't you be getting some of their mechs?
Yeah.
Especially since very early on the UEF was taking the roles that the ASC was. There was very much an attempt to try and have this be a very dark kind of campaign, which I did lean into, but probably not as much as others might have. I remember Jeff saying that the Hannibal campaign should take like a year, and I don't see it that way.
No, this I think you paced this out perfectly.
Mm-mm.
This is a very good pace.
Now, the reason why I ended it off the way I did is one, it seemed the best way to do it, and two, while it will not happen for some time, we will return to Robotech when it comes to handling the Reclamation War. However, I don't intend on having it be this system or this batch of characters when we do. Since you guys have already explored it, so there's no reason for me to double dip. And I'm not going to be one of those persons who over relies on one particular system. But the approach that we do instead is using Savage Worlds,
Nice.
which I do feel Savage Worlds is a natural fit for the way our table works. Plus, it allows me to dip into one storytelling motif that I've talked about almost every time on the reconstruction episodes of Geek Watch, and a few times in my own work, and that is passing the torch, i.e., if we return to Robotech, you'd be playing as the descendants of your characters.
Wait, are you saying that Dirge actually got out and found a woman?
No, the woman probably found him.
I was just about to say that.
Dragged him off by his hair.
Almost
Yeah.
gonna be quicker than that.
I mean, worst case scenario, it could be a Troilian clone using his DNA.
Or another engineer who is a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but although the clone thing probably isn't likely because one, the cloning materials were on the motherships, and two, given what the Diva saw on the mothership you guys boarded, I don't think the idea of cloning would sit with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did, if I remember right, he got sick.
Yeah.
He got sick because he saw Soylent Green, essentially.
Yep.
Not to mention, even for us humans, the idea of cloning has been a very highly contested subject. I don't think we'd be quick to jump on board that idea.
Yeah. There are still going to be a lot of similar Troilians who look similar to each other, but that's just because they are part of what could be considered that last generation of cloning. And does that mean that I'd end up doing multiple reclamation wars in that particular point? Probably not, because one of the things I know is gonna happen when we do that follow-up. All the tech is going to be using the SSCG. So not just the SDFX Warden as we saw, but also but the Starburst engine will pretty much become standardized.
Mm-hmm.
And probably perfected by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least vastly improved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like a few decades would be enough time to refine the process.
Mm-hmm.
To both, we already had it made it. You guys already made it small, so the next natural step would be to make it big. Which was done with the Warden. The next step would be make more of it. But
Harder, faster, better, stronger.
I talk too much to make a Daft Punk impression.
You're also not French.
Of course not. I'm not taking my napkin and using it as a flag.
Oui, oui.
But when it comes now, with that in mind, obviously the next season will not be Savage Robotech. No, we are venturing into a genre that is familiar to some of us, but I haven't used for an actual game stream, whether it be for this incarnation or the old monastery at the table. Although I came very close at least once. Because next month we will be doing Wandering Heroes of Ogre Gate.
Nice.
Ogre Gate is a wuxia themed campaign. One that I have reviewed in the past when I did the second round of Wuxia Month, And once again, got somebody bitching at me about my pronunciation of Chinese. I don't know if you could figure it out, but I don't speak Chinese. I figured the accent would have given that away.
Meow.
But in addition, but it's but I will note, in the interest of full disclosure, that its creator, Brendan Davis, is a friend of the channel and a friend of the temple. He's been on the show multiple times. He's sent me stuff to cover multiple times. And while there isn't Roll20 support for Ogre Gate, this is one case where it's not going to be all that necessary, because it's roll a set of d10s, keep the highest.
Nope.
Some success-based d10 rolls when it comes to combat, and that's really it. Which means that my d6-based curse that I've been dealing with for the better part of a year is finally broken. Seriously, between Sword World, this, Cloudbreaker, and Hell Knight, we were doing nothing but d6 games. With only one exception. And I know some people are going to say, but what about Emberwind? That was beforehand. But yeah, speaking of exceptions, next week we will be returning to the Cloister to tackle our monthly one-shot, because I'm not going to do it 2 days after Turkey Day hell for us here in the States. Shut up, Canada. You already had your Turkey Day.
And it was delicious.
Which means another year of me being banned from the kitchen.
Not surprising.
I wonder
You
why.
earned that ban.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifelong ban.
Yep. And but next week we will be doing New Edo, a game that has been covered at I'd say about 3 times on the channel. First, when Zan and I covered the Quick Start, and it was pointed out that our language wasn't politically correct, which is technically true. I give some slack on that, because some of the people didn't know better. They'll learn. And of course, after. Of course, there was also the fact that I did a full review of New Edo some time ago, and I've interviewed the developer of it, Salty, twice. One for New Edo itself, and one for a story collection. And one thing I will make explicitly clear that I had to beat into people's heads for months: New Edo is not a cyberpunk game. It is a Neon Samurai game. In fact, Neon Kamigawa is one of the best parallels as far as what it is. And I can hear Kay being giddy with excitement, because by this time next week, she'll be able to show off what she's been working in a frenzy over for the
Oh
past
my
few
god,
days.
yes.
God.
Oh my god, yes.
Mhm.
Folks, let me put it this way. I have had to sit here and watch her working on the setup for this next coming on one for a one shot, I might add,
Hey,
for fucking weeks.
Mhm.
If it was for a full campaign, okay, fine, good, put in the extra effort, cool. But she did this much work for a one shot.
it was practice. Necessary practice.
Yeah, the only reason I'm not saying anything more than that is because she's going to be putting a lot of that skill into use when making stuff for me, but that's for a secret project for down the road.
Do
You
not
know, you get
argue
in the
with the
current-
muse.
Yeah. You know how you get into Carnegie Hall, right?
Practice, practice, practice.
So, yeah. The plan is that we will start session 0 of Ogre Gate on December 14th. Now, for those of you who are in the Discord server, the week beforehand, December 7th, because doing a study hall would be pushing it, I'm going to be doing what I had done in the lead up to this campaign, and that is going to be a movie night within the Discord server. And we already have the movie in question pretty much picked out.
No, we don't pretty much have it picked out. We did pick it out. I have it.
Yep, Sakura, which came out last year.
Yep.
And I know some might say, is the fact that you're doing a Wuxia campaign the reason you were playing Wandering Sword over the last week? No, that's a total coincidence, I swear. Although Wandering
I don't
Sword is
believe
really
you.
damn good. But that's what we got coming down the pipe. And of course, tune in tomorrow for the continuation of Geek Watch. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Fuck Harmony Gold!
Fuck Harmony Gold.